Hey guys, welcome to the next part of Let's Play Football Manager 2015 with Newcastle. And this is how the table finished in 2016. We came second and we lost the league on goal difference to Chelsea. I don't believe it. This was completely mad. To be fair, we've got within 2 goals of Chelsea in the 4 column here. And it's still a great achievement, I'm not going to lie. This is... Okay, I've picked apart the current Newcastle team. I've brought in certain players of mine. But this is still Newcastle. This is not, you know, one with a sugar daddy. I don't know if you could call Mike Ashley a sugar daddy. I don't think many will. But, yeah, this is not a particularly different Newcastle team. And I've managed to take them second. I'm very proud of it. It's sort of very similar to sort of Liverpool as well, a sort of combination of what happened last season and in 08-09 when we finished second again. And what I mean by that is sort of the 08-09 problem for Liverpool, why they didn't win the league, was too many draws. And as you can see there, you can see draws against United, draws against Everton, and so on. Not particularly great. But the other thing, of course, as well, is that going on from last season in real life, we kind of were in a position to win and we didn't. As you can see, we were doing really well. That's Chelsea, and then, oh, look at that. We were never particularly... Were we in with a chance? Yeah, you know, look at that. Sorry, I completely got confused there. The lines are messing me up. As you can see, we were first for a long time, and then just at the end, Chelsea come in and kind of nick it off us. Bit of a shame. But as you can see, we were just darting in and out of each other for pretty much all the season. I mean, they slipped down to 4th. I should point out they had a game in hand for a long time. I think they might be current champions of Europe at the time of this. They were. I'm pretty sure they were. And yeah, 9 goals in the end. Bit of a shame, but what can you do? Liverpool in 3rd, and then surprisingly Tottenham in 4th. They've had a really good run. I like the idea Yunus Kabul is captain. They've brought in Christian Benteke. They're also starting to play DeAndre Yedlin, someone who I really like. I saw him at the World Cup and was very impressed by him. I remember he came on and he showed proper pace, and I was blown away by how quick he was. And I said, we should snap him up. He can't be any worse than Glenn Johnson. Okay, yes, we ended up with Javi Manquillo, who I've also been equally, well, okay, not as impressed with, but I've still been very impressed with Javi Manquillo. And may you also see Man City have qualified for the Champions League as well. And that is due to the fact that they've just won the Europa League. And of course, the Europa League now gives the winner a Champions League qualification. So we're actually going to have 5 this time. In terms of actually has won the Champions League, it's actually not going to say. Okay, fine. How do I click on Champions League from here? Certain links just don't work anymore, which is strange. Schedule, are they in the Champions? No, they're not. Of course they're not. What am I talking about? How do I get to Champions League from here? In fact, let's just do this. You can start to see the wacky FMC skin, which, as I say, is not downloadable. So Bayern, had a replay of the final from the other year. Yeah, Chelsea, as you can see, were champions. Bayern have just thrashed Dortmund there. What was I going to say? Yeah. So you got City going through. I've completely forgotten where I was looking for now, but never mind. There is that rule, of course, as well, that the winner of the Champions League, if they finish outside the top 4, bump the 4th place team out into the Europa League. They get their spot. Apparently, I've heard very conflicting rumours that that's gone now, that's not existent anymore, that's still in. This game doesn't replicate them though. And you'll find that out sooner or later. Arsenal, Manchester United and Everton go into the Europa League. I don't know what's happened to these two. QPR doing well. Norwich were doing they had an amazing season. In fact, I'll show you the past positions for Norwich. It takes a while to load the old past position screen here. That's a strange one. Where were Norwich? There they are. As you can see, they were... Look at that. I mean, they were 5th halfway through the season, virtually. And I was very impressed by them. And then as you can see, they didn't quite do a Hull, and just fall down the table at an amazing pace. but they finished in the top 10. They've just come back up. I think they came back up. I think they got promoted. Relegated, I beg your pardon. Yes, of course they have. Yeah, they got relegated last season, didn't they? What am I talking about, God? But yeah, then the rest here, we've got Reading, Huddersfield and Hull. Huddersfield only managing 3 victories all season. They were 2 of them were actually away. They only won once at home. That's terrible. And that was a 3-2 victory against Southampton. So, that's our unfortunate season. Let's have a look at the stats then. How did we get on? Who was top goal scorer? And again, I'm going to make a point. Football Manager 2015 is not very realistic. 1. Mario Balotelli is the highest top goal scorer in the Premier League. Number 2, Mama Brand Youth is the second highest top goal scorer in the league. And number 3, Victor Ibarbo is the third highest top goal scorer. I could sort of get Ibarbo. I mean, he's a good player. I like Ibarbo. But third place top goal scorer? Yes, okay, that one's a bit more. But these two, Diouf was leading the way a lot for the season, and then Balotelli just came from nowhere. You can get an idea of how well Emmanuel Rivier's done. He's been fantastic. I'm going to come back to this guy in a couple of moments, because he has become my sworn enemy, and you'll see why. If I see him in real life, oh, you don't want to know. Anyway, Southampton have Moussa Sow. Everton bought David Villa, and he's had a really good season. Ricky Lambert is now at Aston Villa, and obviously scoring goals now that he's left Liverpool. That's very obvious indeed. And once again, Erby Emmanuelson has had another great season with 13 assists, just one behind the truly OP Eden Hazard. Now, of course, Hazard's not OP, of course, at all. He's fantastic. He will be probably in about 4 years' time, dare I say, possibly the best player in the world. You know, once Messi and Ronaldo have hit their sort of peaks, maybe Messi, maybe not Messi, but Ronaldo definitely, and gone over that hump. So here's how we got on in the remainder of the season. Now, I'm trying to figure out where we left the last time. It was at the Aston Villa game, I believe. So here we go. We won 1-0 against Aston Villa. That was a Papi Cissé goal there. You can't really see again. This is now the full game, I want to point out. I'm playing on the full game for the first time, and they still haven't fixed that. I mean, I don't know whose idea that was. That's just, I'll say it again, poor design. Hull 3-1. In fact, no, I haven't. I'm not going to go over the transfers because we haven't bought anyone else in since the last spoke. Don't be silly. You can obviously see players again. It's pretty much the same team. I can't remember who else we bought in February. I don't think we did. Unfortunately, we then got knocked out in the fifth round, I beg your pardon, of the FA Cup. This is quite ominous, considering Liverpool are about to play Bournemouth in the Capital One Cup in about a month's time, as of recording this. I'm not confident, I'm not confident in general about Liverpool at the moment, but I'm not particularly confident about this either, especially considering how well Bournemouth are doing currently in the Championship. I'm very worried. And I'd like to win the Capital One Cup because, let's be honest here, it's a piece of silverware that's very realistic. We're in the quarterfinals, and Liverpool has a great heritage in it. In fact, they are the most... what's the word? They've won it the most, shall we say. I think like 8 times, I think we've won it now. So yeah, good on that would be good to win. So we then went to Juventus, and we got annihilated. No, seriously, we played Juventus, went to the new Juventus Stadium, and Haidara got completely ran around and played off the park and lost 3-0. It was just horrible. Really was just crap. So, I mean, Juventus are very good on this. I wouldn't be surprised to see them win the Champions League in the next few years because they are very, very good. We then played Arsenal at home and won 3-2. So, again, keeping up the record against the big clubs for the most part. Ferreira scoring here, Emmanuelson scoring. Riviere having an off game, but don't worry, he makes that better soon. We then have 4-0 versus Reading. Reading have just leaked goals left, right and centre. Cissé with 2, Riviere scored, and I think someone else did, but I can't see the balls. Oh, sorry, 2 for Cissé, Emmanuelson and Riviere. They're such a complicated system. We then played Stoke 1-0. Diouf didn't score against us, thankfully. We then beat Liverpool 3-2. Cissé having an off game this time, but you can start to see the wins. We started to rack them up and really push on in the Premier League. And then we actually beat Juventus 4-2. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Of course, they were 3-0 up from the first leg, so they ended up winning 5-4. 5-4. I cannot tell you what a mental game this was. This was nuts. It was just almost, it reminded me of a little bit. I mean, that's 4-0 there, so 3 minutes gone, I'm thinking, well, shit, what's the point of this now? Just see the game out. It reminded me of that game years ago. I think it was the Champions League quarter-final. That's 5-0 at that point now. That's 2 away goals for Juventus. But yeah, it reminds me of the game between Liverpool and Chelsea in the quarter-finals of the Champions League, where it was like 7-6 on aggregate, and we were just pushing for it. And we just get within one goal, and then Chelsea would score again, or we wouldn't just quite get there, And it reminds me of that a little bit. So we're 4-1. It's 5-1 at this point. That was at half-time. This is now 5-2, just after half-time. So I'm thinking, well, I wonder if we can get back into this. Maybe a bit of like a mental Istanbul times a million. And that's 5-3. Papi Cisse with the goal. And then, as you can see, there's no more highlights, really. I don't know why the game did that to me. It's like, oh, you're going to come back? No, of course you're not going to come back. Don't be ridiculous. I'd never do that. So, yeah, this is now the last goal, unfortunately. And here we go, Riviere to Sissoko. And there's Cisse. It's 5-4. Bear in mind, they had 2 away goals. So we still needed to score another 2 goals. But the fact that we would have scored 5 goals would have been an achievement in itself. So yeah, unfortunately we went out again at the Champions League in the first knockout round. Bit of a shame, but damn, we gave it a good go. And then we had a slight hangover from that game, which I'm not at all surprised by. 2-1 away to Southampton, who were kind of handy when you play them. Not great in the long run, but they are still quite dangerous. Norwich 5-1. Again, they really were on the downturn at this point. We took advantage of it. Riviere with 2. 0-0. We actually had 3 draws here. 0-0 at Old Trafford, not the worst result, I think, keeping a clean sheet at Old Trafford, especially a half-decent, now Man United starting to get back a bit now, a half-decent Man United team, I don't think is bad at all. 2-2 at home to Chelsea, if I recall this one correctly. Yeah, unfortunately, Diego Costa equalising 13 minutes to go. Bit of a shame, but considering Eden Hazard put them 1-0 up, to be honest, this game, the floodgates can open sometimes. If this was Stamford Bridge, I'd imagine it would. I was watching Chris Ormey's stream the other day, and he made a point on how he thought, I mean, this is quite a few days ago now, maybe fixed, maybe not, I don't know. Maybe his opinion's changed. But I noticed he said how the game seems to favour the home team a bit too much, which I sort of get. I mean, they are the home team. It makes sense. But when it's too much, it's like, well, you go to Stamford Bridge, the game will give you no chance, as in there is a half percentage chance that you might do well here and maybe even just score, never mind win. I mean, obviously, when Felipe Luis gives you gifts like that, Riviere is going to take them. He's starting to get into a bit of form and start doing really well for the back end of the season. Emmanuelson outdoing Ivanovic. You don't see that so often. I mean, look at that. Near post, there just seems to be so many near posts. This is just a comment on the game. This isn't a complaint or anything, but poor defending there. Really should have dealt with that. I've noticed the amount of goals scored, for and against, in the near post region of the goal. I don't know what it is, but there just seems to be so many near post goals in this game. 2-2 against Everton, moving on. Stephen Taylor scored, and someone else did, might have been their own goal, I can't remember. I can't see. From the crap design. We then played West Brom at home, won them 4-1. Excuse me, Musa Sissoko grabbing 2, and Herbie Emmanuelson there on the score sheet as well. So as you can see there, the draws. On the face of it, just taking them 3 in isolation, that doesn't sound too bad. A draw at Old Trafford, a draw at Goodison Park, and a draw against Chelsea, that's not too bad. But then when you start to see things like, I mean, another draw obviously against Manchester United, that was admitted that was in the FA Cup, but, a draw at White Hart Lane, not bad. But when you go to Stamford Bridge, you lose 2-0, that's when it starts to pile up. And then especially, now these are the last 2 games, when you lose 4-1 to your biggest rivals. I have never had, I think this may be the worst game I've ever had in Football Manager. Now, I've been beaten 5 and 6-0 before. I've lost titles before. In head-to-head type things, like last game of the season, winner takes all type thing. This one was one of them moments. You may notice there, Omer Damari, someone I'd not heard of, before this? Well, I bloody well have heard of him now. He scored 2 goals. He destroyed, and I mean annihilated, my defence. He just scared the shit out of me all game. He terrorised them like I've never seen a striker terrorise a back four on Football Manager before. This was insane. And I'll show you the highlights. Admittedly, I kind of went a bit too attacking. But that wasn't at the start of the game. That was when we went 1-0 down. But as you can see, look at the space for Damari. I think what I tried to do was go a bit too Liverpool-like last season and just go out the blocks and go, right, we're going to beat you and we're going to beat you 5-0. We're going to speed out the blocks and we're just going to do that. And it just didn't work at all. And that's kind of what I wanted to replicate. But I also changed the formation stupidly, which, to be honest, FM has always sort of encouraged you to do. I did change the formation. In fact, before we see the rest of the goals there, Riviere, 75th minute, I'm thinking, right, let's go on and win this now. Let's go on and win the league. Put the pressure on Chelsea. I'm thinking, great, this is good. If we look at the formation, how do I find the formation? As you can see, I play the 4-5-1. We've been playing 4-4-2 all season. Not the most glamorous, I know, but it was working. Why I did that, I don't know. Why did I do it? I think I wanted to include Tiote in there, just to give the midfield a bit of steel, because you've got AU who's very attacking, and Roberto, who, to be honest, I don't know what Sergio Roberto does. He's not been particularly amazing, considering all the hype and all this. And he's been all right. I mean, he's okay, but he's not like world beater Sergio Roberto, So at this point, it's 1-1. I'm thinking, right, let's go on and win this now. All square, 15 minutes to go. I set my team to ultra attacking, like kind of attacking, push higher up. Look where my defenders are. Damari then just absolutely bullies them, and within about 4 minutes they go back in front. That just crushed everything, really. I mean, look how high we are in terms of the line. Damari just, again, can I just point out, this is not just everything that Damari did these goals. He was causing all sorts of problems at the back, and I mean absolute nightmare. At this point, we're in overload. We're pushed massively higher up, and there's Damari again. Should have had a hat-trick. Giaccherini puts it in anyway. At 4-1, they completely kill us off. I think Chelsea won their other game. That put them in the advanced position. I think that was where, if you go back, cast your minds back to the past positions chart where you could see the lines, that was probably where we lost first place. Chelsea obviously had a few games in hand before that, and I think by then, at that point, we were on the verge of losing it. This was then, it came down to the final day, basically, and we beat Tottenham 2-1. The problem was, Diego Costa scored, I think, like in the 85th minute. It was still 2-1 to Chelsea. I think they also won, but then Diego Costa scored in the 85th minute, and that's what killed us. I think, oh my God, Aston Villa might do us a favour here, but of course, never count on Aston Villa to do any favours ever, because they only exist for one reason. I think it was Aston Villa, and that is, oh no, it's Man City. I beg your pardon. Oh, so I'm thinking of something else then. Loic Remy. What the hell was I thinking? I think it might have been another game. Oh, it was. It was Liverpool. Yeah, Liverpool. They were also in contention, but then they, I think they drew. I think like Villa put themselves 2-0 up and they came back from 2-0 down or something like that. Liverpool, I can't remember. But yeah, this is so Mourinho's still there. I'll also go through a check of the managers as of June 2016. So Brendan Rodgers is still there. Steven Gerrard, I think, is retiring soon, or he'll be leaving Liverpool, but after this he's off. We've seen Pochettino at Tottenham. Ronald Koeman is still at Man City. Very much like this manager. I've liked him for years. I said after Rafa Benitez we should hire Ronald Koeman. No one listened to me. We instead hired Roy Hodgson. There you go. Arsene Wenger is still at Arsenal. Andre Villas-Boas still at Manchester United. Of course, that's already 3 managers Manchester United have had in this game so far. They've had Zagal, they've had Emery, and now AVB. Martinez still at Everton. I know this is crazy, right? QPR, Harry Redknapp still there. I think this will change soon, and it'll have to, surely. Neil Adams is still at Norwich. Gus Poyet still at Sunderland. Look at this, it's unbelievable. Mark Hughes still at Stoke. I can't believe there's been hardly any sackings. Obviously Southampton have Zinedine Zidane. I still can't believe that. Yeah, Zinedine Zidane. Where are we? Aston Villa still have Paul Lambert. Swansea have Eddie Howe. I think that's still from the last video. West Ham, Mick McCarthy. That was a terrible impression. Steve McLaren at West Brom. Whoops. Reading have Nigel Adkins still. Hull with Carlos Queiroz. It's an interesting one. And Huddersfield now with Chris Powell. So, that's where we are. Transfers. How are we going to do this then? Who are we going to bring in? So I'm letting a few players go this season. Mike Williams has gone to Wolves. You know all these ones. Remy Cabella's off. But yeah, I think that's it really. I'm just going through now. I haven't started any transfers yet. If you're wondering, my backroom staff has not changed. I've still got Graham Carr in as my scout. John Carver as my assistant manager. Everything's basically the same. I haven't really touched it. I don't feel the need to touch it. My reserves, obviously it's FMC, so we don't have any reserves and under 18s. It's just reserves. You know about Robertson. Here's another young lad, hopefully coming through soon. Ross Lawrence. He looks pretty decent. He's a centre midfielder. Can also play out wide. Potential up to 4-star. Not bad. Not bad at all. So yeah, just annoyingly close to the sale, and we lost it by admittedly 9 goals, but we finished level on points with Chelsea. Kind of sad, really. FA Cup, Chelsea won that. Capital One Cup, Chelsea won that. They've done the treble, domestic treble. I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't happening across millions of games across the world. Chelsea are fantastic, and as I said in the last video, I would not be surprised to see if they went unbeaten this season. They are just about, I think, the perfect team, or virtually are the perfect team. Got Thibaut Courtois, who I think by the end of next season could be the best keeper in the world, minus Manuel Neuer. You know, Neuer's kind of in a class of his own. Courtois could be either up there with him or just behind him. Either way, he will be confirmed world-class goalkeeper, if he isn't already. You've got your strikers, Costa, obviously, and Remy's a great backup. Don't know what we were fucking doing with Remy. Completely ridiculous. The midfield's fantastic. Matic and Fabregas are superb. Manager's great. Azpilicueta and Ivanovic, two best fullbacks. In fact, I'd say probably the two best centre-backs and the two best fullbacks in the league, personally. So yeah, Chelsea already on for the league. I put them in my accumulator, so I'm already set for that. And yeah, so that's pretty just a little view I've got there. As you can see, our expectation was to qualify for the Europa League. Well, once again, the Champions League. We'll see how we do. I don't know. We'll just see what happens next time. So, thank you very much for watching. I will see you for the next video. Ta-ra for now.